And hello, everyone. I'm Dan Lutz, and welcome to another broadcast in the FrontLines in the battle against the deep state, the cabal, the Illuminonkeys, and all those that wish to enslave all of humanity for their own selfish reasons. Well, it's another day, isn't it? We're having a lot going on, and it's hard to really dive in deep, with so much coming at you. And I thought I'd take a little bit of a step back and cover something that came up the other day, which was in the movie The Day the Earth Stood Still. Specifically the Keanu Reeves movie instead of the 1951 classical film, with a great title, right? With a great robot Gort, right? And the whole idea behind this is that there is an alien that's coming to Earth and deciding that people might not be so necessary, right? Come to make pass a judgment upon the people. So, and now, of course, this latest version with Keanu Reeves was kind of more on the angle of environmental issues. You really can't take care of the Earth, and you're just not worthy of this beautiful place, kind of thing. And what we have is someone that is basically an invader, right? That has come to the planet to decide. Why? Well, because it's resources, and they're wasted on you. Of course, they have lofty ideas and goals behind it, and they want to, protect the planet. So, but the one thing that is the uplifting part of this is that we are first, in an offhand glance at humanity. You guys, you're not worth it, right? You've got to be removed from this planet. We got to protect the planet. That's really a theme in the world today, isn't it? So it does play out in the films, or does the films play out so then we follow and are programmed? So I do have queued up here some scenes. So let me go ahead and bring this up. Let's just focus on this one for right now. Move this one up. So this is Keanu Reeves in with the one who is determined. Now he spoke at the UN, and the UN leaders, he was not impressed with. So this is an intellectual, someone who is appreciating all of the finest aspects of humanity, and they're having a conversation. Let's listen.
There must be alternatives. You must have some technology that could solve our problem. Your problem is not technology. The problem is you. You lack the will to change. Then help us change. I cannot change your nature. You treat the world as you treat each other. But every civilization reaches a crisis point eventually. Most of them don't make it. Yours did. How? Our sun was dying. We had to evolve in order to survive. So it was only when your world was threatened with destruction that you became what you are now. Yes. Well, that's where we are. You say we're on the brink of destruction, and you're right. But it's only on the brink that people find the will to change. Only at the precipice do we evolve. This is our moment. Don't take it from us. We're close to an answer.
So there we are. We're close to an answer. So we have the same scenario playing out, right? We basically have we're being accused of having the nature of war. Now, in this world, we're playing in a field that's been designed by warmongers. Right? The people don't want to go to war, right? It's the people at the top of the pyramid, that are directing things and say, "Oh, these are bad guys," or they got to convince us, right? And for patriotic reasons or whatever the reasons, we've got to go to war. All right. Now, this has been the case forever, but the people, they don't want to go and go through that war, right? We don't want to have the potential of dying, and we don't want to have the potential of having to kill someone. This is not our nature. It's not. In fact, we have to be, brainwashed into it, right? And in what is in our nature is a basic instinct of fight or flight. That's in pretty much the nature of every animal, fight or flight. If you are in fear of something, you initially have those two reactions. You're either ready to fight or ready to flee away, run away. So most likely, in determining what's going to happen at that moment, right? It depends on a lot of circumstances. That is a split-second decision that is made at that moment. So whether you're going to do one or the other. And it could be either. Even someone who is the most passive individual could, at that moment, decide to fight. It is an instinctual reaction. But that's been taken from us, and we've been coaxed into a position of constant fear, right? Because that's the trigger, fear. So we're under constant fear. Now it's been numbed, right? As in the article that I put up, Worldwide Civil War, Us versus Them. It's only it's still in my video about 4 or 5 days ago. It's been posted. Still pass that on. There's another one coming, working on it. So we know that fear is what is that trigger point, right? In which we have to now react. They keep us in a state of fear so they can push us to war. Why do they do that? It's for control. For grabbing resources, it's basically maneuvering the planet into a situation that basically says that we are the ones that are, these deep state, cabal. This group wants to maneuver resources for whatever reason. Too many people over here, they move them over there. They want to put people in to grab resources. They maneuver things. So this is a game being played for a motive of greed on their part. Now they have a lot of support, right? Because they build support in their structure from people that head down that road to the dark side, which is also outlined in the article. You start taking the small steps, and soon you're already, breathing heavy and wearing a black cloak and a mask. Now, wearing masks and goggles is seeming like appearing to happen all over the place now, isn't it? Got stormtroopers everywhere and so-called peaceful protesters. So we are at this point of fear all the time, so that they can maneuver us. So what we have to do is stop being afraid. We got to stop, really. It is something that needs to happen to us for a moment. You can be afraid for a moment. There is cause to be afraid for a particular moment. You're crossing into the street and a car's coming at you, horns going off. Be afraid. right? Then after the event is over, fight or flight, calm down, right? Let it go, right? Don't dwell on it. Don't be in fear. Don't go to the next corner and not take a step, right? You have to continue to move forward. So we're in a position now where we're mobilized by fear. We're mobilized into an entertainment box. All right, we're kept on the shelf as a resident on the shelf at this street address and this zip code and so on. There's the box that we don't want to move from because of fear. Now this has been hyped up now with like legal terminology, right? Them saying statutes and regulations, all to say you must stay at home and you have to wear a mask in your house. You have to be socially distant from the people inside your house, and if you're not, then we'll come and take your kids. Fear, fear, fear. So we cannot be in fear. We cannot live this way. We have been in this position for a long time. This constant state of fear. Now it's like we're either, if you remember, just after the attacks of 9/11. This was they had these color codes that came out at the level of fear, right? Yellow, orange, red, green. Green was, no fear. But they want to keep us up at the yellow level, right? Orange, red, right? So we have to stop. We have to go to green and blue and white, and just relax. All right. Now in this world of today, we have the fear coming at us through the television, through YouTube, through all sorts of mainstream media devices to try and keep us at that stage. And we have to do our own research to relieve our fear, to know that masks don't work and that the virus is just a cold virus. And it's not killing all these people. It is a lie. So there are people that are dying, but this is not the reason. But they're making it the reason because they're paying, who's they? The IMF, World Bank, United Nations, World Health Organization, the WHO, are paying countries per head if you follow these procedures. Right? So we have to realize this is our situation, and we have to put the fear aside, right? Because we are magnificent individuals. We're capable of so much beauty, compassion, our ability to create new inventions, art, children, and for us to be able to love them and love others. There's no fear in that. There should not be any fear in any of that. So we need to really just, take that step and realize that we're in a position that we can be okay. Let's go back to our scenes here. Let me see if I can pick up another one here. Make this one. I'm going to close this one up because we've listened to it. We got a few more here. So this one, did I pick it out? Yeah, this one. They're at a cemetery. The young boy is found a place to meet, and it happens to be where his father's buried.
You can do this, just like with the trooper. There are some things I can't do.
Asking him to bring him back to life. He can't come bring him back to life because it's been too long.
transform. She's singing along.
So everything's just simply transformed. So nothing is ever wasted. So everything is just simply transformed. So this is what is happening in the world today, right? We're being transformed. But the deep state wants to transform us into what? Well, they tell us in the movies. We can look at, I brought it up earlier, Star Wars. We have the stormtroopers, the clone warriors all wearing white armor, right? With a breather, goggles, insulated from the environment. Is that not what they're training everyone to do right now? If you even see in the films, if you take off your mask without permission, you can be penalized. Well, why? They're wandering around in the ship, right? Why are they all wearing helmets? Why? Right? To make sure everybody is the same, right? Just a cog in the machine. No independence, no independent thought. Do what you're told. And this is what they want to create. This is the training that they're putting people through. Children not going to school, what are they learning? They're learning to listen to what the government tells them to do. The government says don't go to school, wear a mask, stay at home, go to work, don't go to work, kneel. So that's what they want to transform us into. But what do we want to transform into is the better question, right? What are we looking to be? Right? I often listen to Jimmy Dore. Love him because of his integrity, right? Politics, he's off on the socialist bandwagon, right? Leftist, right? He's out and out lefty, right? And that's okay. I get it, right? But if you listen to what he wants, right, is he wants everyone to have, say, a universal basic income, right? I'm not in favor of that, right? Because it leads to people just not doing anything, right? And if there are people that don't want to do anything, that's okay in life, right? But if you make it blanketly available for everyone, you'll have more people doing that, right? To where society doesn't function, and then you have to have communism come in and force people, right? That's that transition from socialism to communism that happens. There's another way, right? But the idea of what he wants is everyone to be taken care of. No one should be without food, shelter, clothing. This should not be a difficult thing in the world, right? We should have everyone has hard times. Let's talk about hard times now. Hard times is happening across the whole world right now, right? People that are looking at things and they're saying, how am I going to pay for this bill? How am I going to basically get this food? So it's really a hard time right now. Should it be the case? Absolutely not. This is an abundant planet, right? A tank likes to say, you could take a seed and plant it in the ground, and you'll feed a person for a lifetime. And I'm in the Philippines, knowing that the food in the trees, right? So many. Oh, well, that's the phone ringing, which doesn't happen very often. So I guess just hold on a second. I have no choice but to answer. Hello? Yes. I'm sorry. Live broadcast, you never know what's going to happen. All right. At least I'm glad that I figured this part out for being able to stream on camera again. Oh, and we're up to 15 viewers for the moment. So far, 56 have tuned in, 16 currently. So, and then lose the train of thought. So, all right. So, we have to make sure that we're providing for everyone, right? As a society, right? So that can be handled with the financial system. One that's not debt-based, one that's not charging interest for lending money out to the countries and getting them enslaved, that feeds everything up to just the very few at the top of the pyramid. Just like I wrote in the article, it's a Ponzi scheme, right? It's a pyramid Ponzi scheme. Just everything's sent up to the top. So it's the system that's bad. Now we're transitioning out of this system right now. The Federal Reserve has been handcuffed and put in underneath the Treasury, not completely. And we don't know how much actual control, say, Trump has over the Fed versus how much of this is a show and how much is the central bankers, rallying to try and figure a way out of this problem, because they want to reset and them own everything at the end of the day, right? That's the name of this game right here. Reset the world and then them grab everything off of the table, and everyone else has nothing. And by the way, there's a lot less of everybody else. This is the plan. It sucks. It's a terrible plan. All right. So we know we want to transform into a society that has a system that allows for independent individuals to create in their life, right, a life that they want to live, not that they're forced to work. Some people really do like to work in office environments and that's fine. Some people really like to make businesses. They're not the same people. I'm not saying good or bad for either one, right? But the society can figure this out, but we have to change the system. And that's really what we look at transforming on, say, on the structural side, right? On how people go through life and pay for things. We're still going to be using money. We're still going to be paying for things. There's no Star Trek society as of yet. But we can get there, right? Where money just doesn't matter. One of the ways to make money not matter is for there to be plenty of it, and that there not be a cause for inflation. Inflation is directly tied to charging interest. It's not what they've said. Not at all. We don't need to charge interest on money. In fact, there should be no money business where interest is charged. Right? Not at all. We also should not have a business where, a system in which the government is collecting money from people, from their citizens. What's the reason? What's the reason for that other than control? The people have to be in power. Let the people keep all the money. So I could bring this up, but Trump is currently, I think, in a brilliant move, even set a trap using Roberts in the Supreme Court as the fool that basically gave him the power by him saying that Trump can't undo a previous president's executive order. It has to be undone by the Congress. Very strange, right? Because now Trump can make executive orders that the Congress would have to undo. So what did he do? He just eliminated payroll tax. Hello? That's a new system. The reason for the payroll taxes and which is income tax, because that's what happens is you deduct what you paid out in the payroll tax, right? And then, what do you get back? What is the money they're giving back to you? Well, why did they take it in the first place, right? So he's already getting us out of the system. We're transforming the system as is. No taxes. Not needed. The government's the ones creating the money. There has to be a system that allows for the government to create the money. Otherwise, they just create unlimited amounts, and it does cause a problem. But if it's tied to asset and productivity, and the people benefit from what they contribute in productivity, and that could be texting, breathing, anything we want to assign to it, because the existing system works off of the birth certificates and everything. It's the entity sitting there, right? They're saying that's the asset, right? It's also supposed to be the beneficiary, but obviously that doesn't happen. And but in a new system, the money can flow to the people as the beneficiaries of their own work. And as I said, it can be anything and everything. Doesn't matter. It will figure itself out how much texting is compared to something. Everything takes time, right? Everything takes your time. So anything that you're doing can basically be part of the productivity. Even if it's someone that's in a coma, sitting in a bed, they're existing, right? That's doing something. It's existing. So there can be a basis for that, right? And from this we can figure out how this translates into a world in which we have everything that we need, and also are rewarded for our individual efforts and creativity. That also includes, engineers, artists, doctors, mathematicians, teachers, anything and everything. Individual efforts creating. Now, if someone decides to get together and bring a bunch of people together to create a business, what does that look like? An incorporation? I like where everyone's starting to break down these words and what they mean, right? It's really very good. Like his story, like history. I like that one for. And then, but all of this, we're breaking down these words and thinking that there's some hidden meaning behind them. But we need to realize that we're able to create this system, right? That will be able to reward people for coming together to do a task, a general group task. That we could consider a business. It could be a restaurant. It could be a car manufacturer. The people that are working in those at jobs are getting a paycheck, right? But they're also being productive, and that product, we'll just call it points. That point system could be used to basically barter that back to the government to allow them to print more money, and they pay you for that. So that means you get two paychecks, one from your manufacturer and one from the government. Now, that's not a universal basic income, right? It's based upon your productivity. The more productive, the more you get. Now, there's a lot of ways where this can be tinkered with and everything, but some basic concepts, if we follow this, we can see how we transform. All right, now I've just been discussing, some of the, financial side of things, the structural side. This can also be reflective in how we govern ourselves. We have a foundation that we really don't understand, and now it's coming about in the assemblies, right? Something that goes back to where it's not about protesting. Assembly, to a right to assemble did not mean the right to protest. It meant the right to come together and act as the government, to tell the government what to do. That's the purpose of having the assembly. So this is a transformation. We're going back to our roots in this. So, and this also goes back to the Iroquois Indians, right? In this setup. So, we're transforming that way. We have a transformation happening spiritually, right? We're having a very big movement, like to create, a positive spiritual life without getting into any one religion, right? Because religions are created by man and they end up causing the problems, right? That's because that's how we're played against one another. We're divided, right? So, one of the concepts of a government not getting involved in religion, staying separate from that, was an effort to basically make sure that not one side is going to basically be all-encompassing, and everyone must think and believe and feel this way, which is, again, what they're trying to do, even with hate crimes and all the rest. So that whole idea, it has to be based upon your actions, not what you're thinking and feeling. Hate crimes is a slippery slope to the dark side. And then we end up with Black Lives Matter. Of course they do. They put all lives matter. When you don't agree with that, then you've been brainwashed. Something wrong with you, right? Your thinking is wrong because you're not thinking. So, all right. So let's go back. We'll go to the next scene here because each one of these has some good parts in it that I want to address. Which one is next here? Okay, let's look at this one.
You're not alone. Let me didn't leave you. I see him in you. All the time. All the time. It's not fair. No, it's fair. He left me alone. Oh, baby. You're not alone. Let me didn't leave you. I see him in you. All the time. All the time. Sometimes it's hard for me to bear. You miss him too? So much. I'm sorry. It's alright. He's here to help. There's another side to you. I feel it now.
Okay, so he sees it now, right? That there is something worth saving about humanity. So So what is he seeing? He's seeing the compassion, the caring, the love that we have, even for our loved ones that have past. He sees that this is worth saving, right? So we have this in us. Now, part of what we've been trained to do is not love one another, to have our families break up, all from this system that has created this. We have to look at what's happening when we come together to create a family. When we come that we just can't throw that all around away. There's issues. Obviously, when we're talking about family that come up, you can never anticipate. You never know what's going to be happening with a loved one, how they're going to throw you for a loop, but you can't stop loving them, right? This is something that is part of us. In the world that was created for us, this was to be removed. It is to constantly numb us, to make us not want to have our paired off as a male and female couple, that we're not married for 50 years and die together. This is not what they want. They want the family not even to exist. The children to be brought up in test tubes and then put on an assembly line, right, and put into a stormtrooper armor at the age of 1. It's because we're only a commodity in this other reality that they've been trying to force on us, and we've pushed back all along. We still love our spouses. We still love our children. We still love our family, and this is what makes it worth us moving into a world in which we don't have this other stress upon us. This striving so hard to pay the bills, right? How are you going to pay the bills, right? You got to get another job. You got to do something to spend less time with your family. Not just just the father, but the mother also. Listen, I'm not against women in the workforce, but if you have kids, you should be home with them. Yeah, I get it. That's a different life. But if you have kids, someone has to care for them, and you're hiring someone. That's not you. Why is that more important than the children? See, these are the things that and you want to reverse it. And I always hear this woman attorney I always used to argue with in a coffee shop in Brentwood, California, in West LA. And it was always, I called her the feminazi, and I took it to her face in a loving way, right? and she sometimes she'd grin if I'd say it. So we had a strange relationship, but this is something she'd argue about, right? And it wasn't about that. It's not about women not being able to do something. It's what you're giving up, not just for yourself, but the children and the husband, right? Because the husband also is affected when the children are brought up by others. So we have to really go back to what our roots are, and really realize what that means to when we bring kids together. We have to know what that is. What does that world look like, right? So not saying that women can't do other things to bring money into the house or anything like that, but it has to be the secondary or even third to what the aspect of what the home life and the children, right? Really, and the husbands also have a big problem. They really do. They don't they don't learn how to be good providers, good husbands. Women do not learn how to become good mothers, good wives. That's a lost art, right? It's been bred out by cultural means. I almost made a study of it. I was married 18 years. So yeah, that's a long time in today's world, right? It still ended, but I had a lot of friends, right, male friends that had, let's say, 8-year plus marriages, right? And it was probably there was at least upwards of 20, but there I really stopped counting when I had a dozen. But let's say there's 20. But it was the case where the woman was the one that decided to get divorced, and the men were always shocked, right? And this is the same scenario repeated in all the cases except one. All the cases except for one, where everything was sold off, right? This is the new formula for dissolving a marriage. They sell everything, and you split it 3 ways: a third for the man, a third for the woman, and a third for the attorneys. When it comes down to great business for the attorneys, right? Right. And then after 2 years, the woman goes out dating, and then after 2 years decide she doesn't like that. Not really that good of a dating scene, and not happy at all, and she wants to get back together with her husband. I mean, this was right, like, it was so remarkable that this was always the case. I started telling guys who are just getting divorced, I said, just watch about 2 years from now, see what happens. And they decide that they want to come back. But what did the guy say? Again, except for one, I'll get to him. The guy say, no. No, I do not want to get back together. You destroyed everything that I work for. Okay? It's the guy's perspective, right? He's building. So, this is this repeated scenario, right? So what about the one that was different? Well, the one that was different, the woman did decide to get divorced. But I can say for certain that she was what would be known as a gold digger. She was just lining up the next one to the next one to the next one, so she could reap off of the next one. Not really a very loving real individual. I never really connected with her or her sister for that matter. But both of them ended up divorced. Both of them were odd divorces and families. Anyway, without getting into that, but sorry, I get a little sidetracked there. But all to point out that we have been trained to break up our families, and we've got to stop that. Men have to do their part. Women have to do their part, right? And we have to first of all respect one another, both ways. And women, you can't beat up on the guys for doing guy things, right? I don't know. Guys don't really beat up on gals for them doing the gal things, right? So that's one of the things. It's like, I'm hanging out with my guy friends. We're doing guy things. Why is this a problem, right? It's not out of proportion. It's not like superseding important family issues. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking just in general. So things like that. So so we're transforming, but we've got to consider what they've done to us, right? And we've really got to figure out what we have to get back to, right? And again, I'm not saying we go back to 200 years ago and act exactly like that, right? But we do have to have respect for what way things were happening in the past and the traditional values that were there. And I found those around the world, right? It's the Western cultures that really got messed up with way things are going, and that was on purpose. So turn towards the more traditional cultures in the world and see how they're working together. the gals hang out together and they do the gal things, and I could in the ancient times, right? Go back, around the founding of America and everything. What you had, the women get together and they have an issue, right? They got together and they were doing the anti-slavery movement, the anti-suffrage movements, and that they were doing the female things that they related to what was on their minds, right? And the guys had other things, and then sometimes they came together. So we've got to look at how we got to do those things. But remember, when we got kids, we've got to take care of them, and we've got to figure a way past our differences and really see what's really important. Of course, there's always going to be some oddities that happen in the world where you end up with someone too far gone down the cabal path, right? As how many of them are irredeemable, that they cannot come back, right? One of the things that's been coming out lately is about Tom Hanks, that he's actually already been, executed, is because he was a danger to children, right? So this was something that was so, can those people be redeemed? Can they be brought back, right? And some are not going to be able to be. They're, the what we have an idea and a picture of, if we just look at Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise is one of them, but I was in Tom Hanks. But we have perspectives of a painted picture that is given to us by the media. We have absolutely no idea who these people are. Nothing. And we completely so different than anything that we have as an impression in our mind, because it is only what is given to us by the media, right? So we don't know. Okay. So let's. I think that we do have one more clip. Let's go ahead and finish this one up. Okay. He's infected by the nanites, and so he's ended up trying to basically cure them. I think there's another part of this that I missed in the beginning. Yeah, there's something. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah. Well, I'm not going to play it because that part it wasn't in the video that I wanted to show you. Okay, so let's stop that for a moment. Anyway, so what it was is that it shows that in the very when he's laying there in her arms, he's bleeding out his nose, and she says, "Help him." And then 1 second later, her nose is bleeding, and she looks at the blood in her, and she says, "Help him." Self-sacrifice, right? And this happens, right? We self-sacrifice for others a lot. We do. This is very commendable, right? This is part of our nature, and this is why we are, as a species, as humans, are in ourselves wonderful beings. We are. Everywhere I've gone in the world, all the people that I've met, the people that are the poorest people to the richest people, there's good in most people. They're the number that are actually not are so rare, but their interest is in power, and they've had a very long time to organize and treat the rest of the world and train other people to be like them so that they can stretch out. So even out of all the deep state, a lot of people in the deep state, they just think they're part of a system and they're doing good. They think of themselves as good people. Even if they know that bad things happen because of the jobs that they're doing. I always go back to the people in the VA hospital. That was the biggest amount of experience I had with government people in the VA. My father trying to get help, and how the people some of those people, they were really treated everyone horribly, as though they didn't matter. This was just a job for them, and in fact, some of them were sadistic, and I saw it. And even Trump has said this, right? So, anyway, we're doing overall. We're doing pretty good. So we're worth saving, right? So in this new manifestation of this new reality, we're taking our steps forward, and we're going to continue. Like along that note, I would like to also thank the people that have also sent donations. Much appreciated. Thank you so much. It's just through your help that I can continue to do this. I still am in need. In fact, I think that I'm going to have to figure out some way of maintaining this at a much easier pace, and maybe the monthly membership, and people doing $888 a month. There was, if I had 1,000 people doing that, I could build quite a lot. I could hire some editors, and though I've had some help from doing some editing, I could help hire some other people to do things if I'd had that kind of money coming in from this. So that might be some kind of goal. So again, much appreciated for the people who have. Someone also gave me some information about, remember I was talking about the timeline. One of the people that contributed, I sent a thank you email, and I said, and he emailed back and then said some of the information I was covering was also covered. So it kind of answered the question. Oh, excuse me. So it kind of answered a question about when I was referring to Trump when he was making his worldwide tour, and he was meeting with the Prime Minister of Japan, Abe, and then went to Korea, and then back to Japan, and then went to London. This worldwide trip. We went to London. What did he sign? What was that all about? Excuse me. Got some sneezes. And he apparently someone said that there are some documentation basically saying that this was the relief of the debt that America had. He said he didn't remember to what entity it was to, but he's going to try and get that information, I guess, and send me some information on that. But also, he's giving me an email address of the guy who made a video about it. So if I can get that information, that would be really good, because I was trying to track that down. So, building and trying to bring people in and get activated, so that we actually are making a difference. We have to take action. We have to do things. We have to give likes, give thumbs ups, give share this link, right? And also participate in any way. And I'm willing to help you if you want to do a broadcast. You have something you also want to talk about. please contact me. Come on, and we'll talk about whatever you need to bring out, and we can focus and we can get other people involved in it. We have to start making those steps. This is the time to make a move. This is it. It's happening right now. I think yesterday the White House had the green lights on. Green is go. There's operations underway right now. Oh, one more thing. I didn't want to let go of this. Let me bring this up. Okay. This is, let's see if I can find it. Not that one. Yeah, this one. This is really talking about what happened with William Barr that I think is pretty cool. There were some people that were protesting in support of the police, and Barr got out and thanked them. So let's listen to this.
That to heart recently was somebody standing out in the gap.
This is
very dangerous for him to do this. But look what Attorney General Barr was doing recently, driving in Virginia.
Good to see you, sir. I used to work at this is awesome. Keep up the good work. Thank you. Keep up the good work, sir. Let me get it.
You did wonderful on your testimony. It was spectacular, I thought. We love you. It was terrible.
The old.
He's been retired.
Can we take pictures of our chips? Come on in, everybody. Let's take a picture.
Isn't that amazing? So, Carrie Kupek, Department.
Again, this is from And We Know, and it was on YouTube. Only on And You Know YouTube channel. So this was the Twitter account, Carrie Kopek, right? And I found it here too. So anyway, I want to support And We Know. I always liked his work. So all right, with that, I think that's good for today. I appreciate again everything that you've done, but let's keep it going. Let's take some action. My information is down below. The website is down below, wwg1wga.love. The Telegram group, so much great information gets passed over there every day. It's almost like I don't have to look other places. It's all coming in there. So join that group. It's also a safe place. You can also have voice communication and talk with people safely, right? Unlike WhatsApp and Facebook and these other apps. So anyway, that's it for today. Until tomorrow. Have a wonderful day.